Good morning. Good morning. Wow, there's a whole lot of purple happening on the screen right now. Happy Tuesday, my friend. Got my auntie corn mug this morning. Have you guys seen this? Like a normal ant, but more awesome. My sister got that. Well, technically, Alice got that for me, but it tracks. Um, I need the auntie corn vibes today. I tell you what. Yesterday, I went to the Mall of America, which is not as exciting as it sounds like, "Oh, the Mall of America." That's literally the mall I shop at because I live in the Twin Cities. So, it's not like this hugely crazy, like, big, like, "Let's go to a landmark adventure." It's not that. I wanted to go shopping, and I went to the Mall of America. And in doing that, I ended up walking all 3 floors that have, stores on them. The mall is huge. And so I literally started in the entrance I normally start at, which is also a place that I knew I needed to shop at, walked the entire 1st floor, and then when I got back to the beginning, I went up on the escalator, walked the entire 2nd floor, and then did the same thing with the 3rd floor, and your girl has gotten, like, I think I had 15,300 steps yesterday. Good morning, Lissa. Um, which felt amazing. I wore my braces, I wore my leg braces, so while my feet were hurting a little bit, because we know that, like, my feet don't like to handle, like, extended periods of time in the braces, but me being in the braces is helpful when I'm walking for an extended period of time. It's this awful catch-22. Um, but I got home and I had like 11,000 or 12,000 steps by like 3:30 PM. It was crazy. And then, did things around the house. I am tired today. And I woke up and I'm like, why am I moving so slowly? And then I was like, oh, remember how you got almost 16,000 steps yesterday? Yeah, maybe that's why you're tired. Like, relax. Oh, hi. Love it, Lindsay. Good morning. Yeah, so I went live. I'm live because I'm still nursing my cup of coffee and need to get a video up today. Never managed to finish editing a video yesterday because doing the housewife life after my shopping uh, adventure ended up uh, consuming the rest of my day, cooking, taking my husband back to the car thing to go get his car, and we had to do that on his time because he works, all that jazz. And then finally at about 8:30 PM, my body's like, "I have had enough of this." And I sat down and I read and I did something that I haven't done in a long time, and it's kind of been something that I I've been thinking about, and it's nothing profound. I went back and started reading and actually subscribed to a blog that I used to read a couple of years ago. And for those of you that have been around, you might remember me talking about it, but you might not. I can't remember how much I actually talked about it, but there are these two blogs, books, blogs. I know Shannon's is a blog. I don't know if The Daily Connoisseur is a blog. I can't actually remember. Around the same time, I discovered 2 separate books and blogs. I can't remember. One is, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna remember her name. Who the heck writes The Daily Connoisseur? What is her name? Oh, how awful of me. Oh, it is a blog, look at that. Jennifer L. Scott. Gosh, I couldn't for the life of me remember her name. And she does in fact still have a blog. So I must have discovered both of these blogs at about the same time. The Daily Connoisseur and The Simply Luxurious Life. And both of these ladies in their own way kind of have um a vibe of like cultivating. Well, Shannon is the come on coffee, you can do it. You can do it. Simply Luxurious Life. And, what's the I love doing that all the time. I feels like refining it. Jennifer is the daily connoisseur. Thank you. Yeah. It's like finding an old friend. So Shannon Abels slipped into my email. I guess I'm subscribed to her newsletter, or maybe something happened where she slipped in my email where it was something about talking about joining the membership for her blog. And because now, evidently, she is no longer teaching and she's a full time blogger and content creator, which is amazing for her. She deserves it. And so has her running blog, but she also has stuff behind a paywall on her blog. Not terribly expensive, but I was like, you know what? I want to see what she's been up to because I've basically walked away from her for like 2 years. I've stopped doing blogs. There was a time in my life not that long ago where every morning I would sit down at the computer and I would go to bloglovin.com and I would see all the blog posts, like the blogs that I was subscribed to and like a news feed type of thing, right? And I haven't done pay attention to blogs in a very, very long time, right? Because like there's the whole like, is blogging dead? I don't know. It's not dead. But she slipped into my DMs or DMs, not my DMs, my email. And so I ended up on her website. First I did it from YouTube and I just love the 10 item wardrobe. Yeah, um I love Jennifer and I love Shannon. And both of them have books. And I picked up Jennifer's first book first. The date Lessons from Madame Chic. That's what it is. Lessons from Madame Chic is her first book. And she goes through, and this is Jennifer, recounts the time she spent living in France as like an exchange student and what she learned from living with her exchange student family in France and all of the things that like go down in France that like would be blasphemy in America, like going out in pajama bottoms, snacking, all sorts of stuff. And I was fascinated by so much of this. Um, one that stood out to me was sleeping in like sweats, like your comfy cozy sweats with like holes in them and all of that. And she's like, the French people don't do that. They have like nice pajamas. And it's a thing. And like I was fascinated by this. So I ended up over time getting, I think she has two books on my bookshelf right now. And around the same time, I discovered Shannon, the Simply Luxurious Life, who, while she doesn't have like a French like life-changing experience type thing to share, she is also very much inspired by France and England and the luxuries create she is very much her mission statement now. I was on her, like I said, I was on her blog perusing last night, is all about cultivating contentment in your life, your everyday life, and making the everyday feel a little bit more luxurious. And so all that to say, last night I ended up on the simplyluxuriouslife.com and I ended up paying for a quarterly subscription to her all access pass type thing, which was like 18 bucks, like not a big deal. And because it got you access to stuff like she was renovating her little home, her little what does she call it? La Papillon is what she calls it, apparently. And she has another book out that I didn't even know she had written because I've fallen so far off the face of this planet when it comes to the blogs that I like. And all of that to say, that's kind of what I dove into last night after I had finished one of the books that I was reading, Hallelujah, and was literally just too tired to go upstairs and get a different book to start. I had already determined, like, my husband was working until like 10:15 last night. So I sat in the chair and just consumed not television content, blog content, and books and things like that for like 2 hours. And it was wonderful. And it just got me thinking about how I need to get back into this, like reading the blogs that I love to read for two reasons. One, it's a lot more exciting than scrolling TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or the news websites or, hearing about the next doomsday thing that's happening with COVID and the war and all of the other things. Not that not not that having an understanding of what's going on in the world is not important because it is, but like let's be honest, there's so much stuff out there that like people are going to bend things to get you to believe what they want and it's a whole hot mess. So like media consumption is a hot mess, right? My Netflix expires tomorrow unless we re-up it. So like I have no need to like just sit and watch video content. Sometimes I do need to sit and watch video content because my brain is too tired to even try to read things, that's what happened to me a couple Sundays ago when I was just so freaking exhausted that I was like, I want to read and I can't do it. I physically cannot do it. Um, and yes, exactly. A change up of content is good. But the other thing that I noticed is as I was on the blog last night and reading a couple of Shannon's posts, I was sitting there and first I was like, I need to go and reread all four of these books because I own Lessons from Madame Chic, the other one about Madame Chic. I own the Choosing the Simply Luxurious Life and Living the Simply Luxurious Life. I own all 4 of those. And I'm like, I need to go back and reread those because they're quick reads, but they were so inspirational and so informative, right? And then the other thing that it made me do is go, I really need to resurrect my blog. Like, that's literally what as I was reading her blog content and enjoying her blog content, I had this, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, You should go write something. You should go write in your blog." And so that is what I have been thinking about since last night, is what the heck do I do with this freaking blog that I have, that I pay for, that I haven't posted on in I don't even know how stinking long. How long has it been? I think I wrote what and of course, half the time my blog looks funny and I don't actually know why. I have to go back and like figure out all the things. I know why. It's because I put an S in the HTTP. Yes, it is. Why does it do that? I have no idea. Um, November of 2021, I wrote one post, which was really just let me share this YouTube video of how I tried WW Personal Points for a hot second. And then my last post was October 2020. And like part of me is like, I'm so video focused right now that on the one hand, do I really need to be doing this? But on the other hand, like I'm sitting here scrolling my blog. On the other hand, that's kind of like getting back to my roots, right? And I know I've talked about, right, like resurrecting the blog multiple times. And I just never do it. I never sit down and I do it. But it was just so interesting to me how after going back and sitting and spending time on blogs I used to spend time on made me go, well, I want to spend time on my blog. Hmm. What the heck do I put in it? I have no idea. And that's what, like, I didn't even come here to discuss this with you. I'm just coming here to randomly chat over my cup of coffee, hoping to God that this isn't the amount of caffeine I need to actually get moving. Because holy cow, um, I'm moving slow. I'm moving slow. But um, so now like the brainstorming is going wild of like, is this something that I use to create the exact same content as I do on YouTube? Or is this kind of more something that I use to take not a different direction, but like a complementary direction? And if I want to do something like actually like sit and reread these books and focus on implementing some of like the daily contentment practices and the simply luxurious life practices into my life, is the blog kind of like where I document stuff like that? Is it more of a dear diary, here's what's going on type situation, as opposed to like exact dupes, like pulling, like if I put up a video about weight loss, 5 weight loss blah blah blahs, do I pull that video and pop it on the blog too, like write out that version? What's the right move for this like this dead blog? It is laying there and it needs to be resurrected. And it is hilarious to me that I'm thinking about resurrecting, like literally the word resurrection has been on my mind for to describe this blog the week of Easter. I was like, is that coincidence or is that something a little bit more profound happening here that I'm like I should resurrect, and like that's the word that I'm using during Easter week. I don't know. I don't know. But like all of the things have been on my mind. All of the things have been on my mind. It's because I simply just took the time to spend some time on something that I used to do on a regular basis. And that also got me thinking about like, what other things did I used to do on a regular basis that lit me up, that gave me a little something that I don't do anymore? What are those things? Can I re-implement them into my life? I don't know. Like, it's just, it's one of those things. Hello, good morning. It is nice to see you. It's just one of those things that I'm just like, I don't like, I feel like I'm still in the phase. You can tell I'm in a phase of change. I am in a place in my life where I'm like something has to change, and there are things that like may change or may not change, and I want to work on being able to cultivate contentment where I'm at, which I think is why going back to Shannon's blog hit me so hard last night, because that's literally what something that I am working on every day right now. Like working towards something but also being content with the space I'm in, the home I'm in, the stuff, like all of that. And there's a very fine balance between the two, right? um So it's a lot of what I've been thinking about lately, and I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know what to do with any of it, but at least I'm thinking about all of it. I don't know. In other news, today I am gluten free. Um, just for 2.5 days to see if I did my 2 days. If you guys have been following along, I'm doing a "Are you gluten sensitive" protocol, and which is all well and good. And the first 2 days of the gluten sensitivity protocol is eat gluten at every meal. Now, the weird thing that has been happening is the scale has gone down for the past 2 days after like being completely stuck for like 2 weeks. The scale has gone down. I have no explanation. I got on the scale this morning and I was like, "What is even going on? What? Why? How? What?" Now it could have something to do with the fact that I got over 15,000 steps yesterday. But also, I'm like, one day is not gonna like make the scale drop dramatically. That's not a thing. What is happening? Um, so that's happening, and my measurements are starting to go back down, which is so nice. But weird because it's after the 2 days that I have had gluten at every meal. So that's dumb. And then today and tomorrow I am gluten free. And then Thursday I am gluten free until dinner. And then I'm making pasta. And we're going to see how my body responds to pasta. And now to throw another wrench in the plan, plot twist, if you will. So my coach and I were talking about this yesterday because it was my check-in day. And, we're talking about all the stuff happening in my body. And she wants to, even though she's like, don't expect fat loss to be happening right now because your body is out of whack. And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I've just kind of like not given up, but like for the next couple of weeks, I'm not holding out hope for things to be going the way I want them to be going because some things are so out of whack, right?" And but she and I were talking and she likes to troubleshoot and she stops and she thinks about like, is it your food? Is it your like she takes in all the information and tries to help figure out what the heck is happening. And she's like, "Do you think it has anything to do with your machine and the fact that it cranks air into your system?" And I was like, I know that's a thing. And I thought it was actually an uncommon thing. Turns out it's a pretty common thing to end up swallowing more air because you have air being forced on your system. Now, and the result is, distended tummy, more air in your belly, bloated, things like that, burpier, gassier, that type of thing. Um, which the kicker is it's the same symptoms as a gluten sensitivity, the same symptoms. Bloated, burpy, gassy, all the things could be gluten sensitivity. Oh, but it also could be aerophagia, I think it's called. I'm like, "What? Why?" I have 2 potential situations that have the exact same symptoms, the exact same symptoms, and I could be like, it could be both of them. Or neither of them, but it could be both of them. And so, but all of the articles I was furiously Googling just to see what I could come up with. And with CPAP machines, that's not an uncommon thing. But I have an APAP machine. So the CPAP, your doctor sets a specific number and cranks things out for you, right? And that it stays at that number. My machine cranks air at a lower number until it senses it needs to crank up the air, and then it'll push out the air until it fixes the problem, and then it'll go back down. So, what I can't find is this aerophagia common? I think I'm saying the right word. I don't actually know. Is it common with APAPs as well as CPAPs? Excuse me. See, or just CPAP machines? I don't know. So now I'm sitting there and I definitely had like Gracie woke me up at freaking 12:30 in the morning. I was out for like an hour and a half and she's crying and making a scene and whatever. And then of course I had a whole bunch of anxiety over because in the back of my mind I'm thinking about, is it the APAP that's causing my problems? Blah 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 blah. Like, ugh, ugh. So so I'm all sorts of what? I wind up only making posts for printable recipes that coordinate with my video recipes. Okay. Okay, I like that. Seems like gluten sensitivity shares symptoms with everything. I mean, there were even some CMT systems that were, yeah, I know. So my plan, and so once I researched this a little bit, I messaged my coach back and I was like, You brought up a really good point. So here's my plan of action. I'm going to continue with this gluten protocol because if it's gluten, fine. And I've been talking to my sister. My sister has celiac disease. And in the video I filmed yesterday, the vlog I filmed, which is literally just me talking about this gluten thing and then talking about my adventure at the Mall of America. Nothing terribly exciting, but it happened. That was my day yesterday. I talk about how she's like, well, she's had it for less than a year. Evidently, she's been gluten free for 2 years. And because I'm not around, I've just kind of lost track of time. So I stand corrected in the video that I'm gonna edit today. Um, but and but I also asked her because I've been burpier than normal from what I can observe. And I'm just like, that's weird. And then sometimes it's like the acid reflux. So then got down the rabbit hole of does gluten sensitivity cause acid reflux or heartburn or whatever? And the answer, of course, is yeah, it can. But also, like, you can find information for whatever ails you, right? If I want to talk about, like, does burping mean I have cancer? I'm sure I can find something, right? So I'm just like, oh, what the heck is going on? But then the scale starts going back down and things feel like they're normalizing all at the same time that I'm like, what's wrong with me? Madness. Blame makes sense that people blame gluten for everything. Yes, and that's also one of those things because 'cause I'm like, everybody is unnecessarily gluten-free, right? Um, but here I am sitting here going, "But is gluten actually my problem?" And so it makes me feel like not a hypocrite because 'cause I've never been like, "I'm never gonna go gluten-free." If it's for my health and it turns out that's what I need, I'll do it. I'll go mostly gluten-free. Unless I end up, like, diagnosed with celiac, I'm convinced that I will still enjoy gluten, but, like, less, you know? Um, but it's I'm like, I'm doing the little test to, like, rule it out or to not rule it out, to be like, "Oh, that's actually what's happening. Who the heck knows?" Maybe you should try sleeping without the APAP for a few days to see if anything changes. I've thought about that. I've also already adapted so well that, like, I breathe better with this stupid machine on, which is really when I'm not, like, having anxiety over it. Because it's funny because I woke up this morning and I didn't even realize I still had the machine on my face because I was breathing felt so normal through my nose that I was like, "Oh, no, the machine is actually still on and helping me." Um, so, because I don't like here's the thing, I'm feeling more energized and more sustained energy from having the machine. It's doing its job, which is amazing. Um but so I don't know. I have an appointment with the APAP machine people tomorrow to get a different mask, which might help. I'm going to get the one that goes up your nose instead of the one that's like around. I'm going to see if that does anything different. And I'm also going to bring up, hey, I've been experiencing these symptoms. Is it common with like, I'm going to talk all about this to the APAP professional and see what she says. So it's convenient that I had this realization right before I ended up with the appointment. Hi, Amberly. Good to see you. So frustrating. There's so many different root issues that present the same symptoms. I know. I know. So it's just figuring out what it is. Do people get diagnosed with gluten insensitivity later in life? Everyone I knew since teenagers are younger. Well, here's the thing. You upon research, there's no way to get formally diagnosed with gluten sensitivity. The only gluten issue you can actually get diagnosed with is celiac disease. There is no way to test for gluten intolerance or gluten sensitivity. It's literally eat gluten, see how you feel. Don't eat gluten, see how you feel. If you feel better not eating gluten, stop eating gluten. That's literally the test and the diagnosis. And that's exactly what my sister said to me last night as I was messaging her. She's like, you could you just need to stop eating gluten for a while and see how you feel." And I was like, "Oh, that's literally what I'm doing tomorrow." Because I was telling her, I'm like, "I had gluten at every meal for the last 2 days." And I don't think she realized it was part of the test. Because she's like, "How about you just stop eating gluten and see what happens?" Which is what these next couple of days is going to be. But there's no way to actually formally test for that, which is why so many people, like the clean eaters, are like, just eliminate gluten. Because for a lot of people, it actually does help to eliminate gluten. Um, are you still taking digestive enzymes? Yes, I'm taking the digestive enzymes that I had just purchased as long as I remember to take them. So, like, I had lunch out, I had Panera while I was at the mall. Did I remember to bring them? No. So I'm trying to remember to take them. So I get them in me at least twice a day. And then I actually found online, it might have been too much of an impulse purchase, but after I determine how all of this reacts to the gluten, I did find by the brand Mary Ruth's gluten specific digestive enzymes for you to take before you're ingesting gluten that have a lot of high reviews and some ingredients that are not in the other digestive enzymes that I ordered. So I ordered a bottle of those just to kind of have on deck, because if it turns out that I am reactive to gluten, what I would like to do in a perfect world, I would end up like limiting gluten, cuz on the day to day, a lot of gluten, like it's pretty simple to eat gluten free in terms of like meal structure, but I also don't like, if I'm hoping that I'm not gluten sensitive enough, or like if gluten is like slipped into something that's not like a deliberate piece of bread, it won't blow me up. I don't know. It's all relative. What day in the test are you? This is day 3. I am gluten free today. Gluten free today, gluten free tomorrow, gluten free Thursday until dinner. Hi Audrey, good to see you. Is APAP what they suggest for CMT? No, nobody in the CMT group has actually suggested an APAP machine. I think they're new enough where not enough people know about them. People in the CMT group suggest BiPAP instead of CPAP, because a lot of CMT people have weaker diaphragm muscles and troubles breathing. But the APAP, I didn't even like tell someone like, "Oh, I have this disease and we're supposed to have, CPAP might not be the best for us because I have this machine that's automatic." And this automatic machine is set at a lower number to begin with and only kicks on when it needs to, which is super super great. So I think that's really helpful for CMT, for like self-diagnosis. Yeah. Yeah. So the it's just, the test is eat it, see how you feel, don't eat it, see how you feel. And if you feel better without it, maybe you should go without it. Could you have mild sensitivity to break down the gluten, but it's just taken so it's possible. And that's why when the scale has gone down the last 2 days, even though I haven't really deserved it, um, I was like, "This is just what? Weird." And I'm like, I wonder if it's the APAP starting to work more consistently, the enzymes starting to work, the new probiotics starting to work. Like, I wonder if it's just all of those things are kind of hitting at once. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. uh, Biocult for digestive issues. I found it so helpful. I'll have to keep that in mind. I've got a couple of different digestive things on deck that I'm working on. Um, oh, interesting. As long as she's on allergy meds. What kind of allergy meds? Because I literally have allergy meds in my system 24/7, 365. I take efexofenadine every single morning, which is Allegra. Every single morning. And I take on some other days. Last night when I got woken up by Gracie, I ended up taking 2 Benadryl and a Xyzal, because you can take Xyzal at night. You should take Xyzal at night. So when allergy season hits or when I'm having particularly stuffy issues, I will take that at night too. So I constantly have allergy medication in my system, and I have pretty much since I was 10 years old. So um I don't know about that. Uh, Children's Benadryl chewable. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see. It's a lot of testing, a lot of trial and error, a lot of, like, right now, like I said, like my expectations of fat loss are on hold. I'm gonna just keep on trucking along, but they're on hold until I can at least work out what the heck might be happening in my body, which is fine. It's not an excuse to like make poor life decisions, right? I'm still gonna, do the workouts and track my food and do all of those things. It's just a matter of like the expectations of seeing the scale go down. Weirdly, once I was like, I'm not expecting to see the scale go down, it has started to go down, but I don't anticipate that being a regular occurrence. Or it could. I don't know. I don't know. I'm in a period of experimentation, which is so funny. This is another thing that my coach and I talked about. And I was like, why does this stuff always happen when I'm in fat loss mode? Last time I went into fat loss, it called to my attention a bunch of hormonal imbalances that I was having. And this time, it's calling to attention a bunch of other stuff that's going on. I'm like, you couldn't have done this while I was in maintenance? While I had no other like expectations of the scale or anything, you couldn't have done it then. No. You had to do it after I'm like, "Okay, let's go," and then thwart all of my efforts. Freaking Murphy's Law, you guys. Murphy's Law. Um, Interesting. Cutting gluten, how does that affect your carb macros today? If I'm smart about it, it won't. Because you know what else has carbs? Rice, quinoa, fruit, vegetables. Like there are beans. There are plenty of ways to get carbs without having gluten. Gluten is just wheat, barley, rye, that kind of stuff. Oats are gluten free, most of them. Most of them. The giant container of oats I have downstairs are gluten free. So it should not affect my carb intake at all. So, to blame the Murphys. Lindsay, I blame you for a lot of things. Are you the Murphy of Murphy's Law? Lindsay, are you the Murphy of Murphy's Law? Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I mean, that's an unfortunate, yeah. You have the last name is Murphy's Law, which is whatever will go wrong, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. Murphy's Law. Mm, so exciting. Hi, Rosie. Good to see you. Um, so that's what's going on. Considering resurrecting the blog, considering going back to some old things that I used to do just to dabble, just to see if it sparks me back up. I think that would be a lot of fun. Um, yeah, that's all I got. Do you guys have any questions for me? Any things you want to talk about before I let you go? I know the thing said that the little cover says half an hour, which we're at 32 minutes now, but that's okay. Is there anything else you guys want me to talk about before I let you go? Announcements. Since I have you all here, tomorrow's Desserts with the Diva is at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. 3:30 p.m. It is early because we have dinner plans. Can we just talk about how napping is productive? We absolutely can talk about that. Tell your story. Because here's the thing, I often don't nap. I don't nap. I am not a napper. Most of the time, if I nap, I feel worse than how I felt before, unless I am ill or beyond exhausted. Most of you can tell if I am not feeling well because I will fall asleep in the middle of the day. But other than that, I can't nap. I'm a terrible napper. I have tried to implement napping into my daily routine and I can't do it. But just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it doesn't work for everybody else. There are plenty of books, productivity things. Freaking Google has napping pods in their offices, right? Like there are a lot of studies that show that naps are actually a really, really great thing. But I just, they personally do not work for me at this point in time. I have not figured out how to have a productive nap time. I have not figured that out. Doesn't mean whenever you decide to rein in your spending and save money, Lindsay will have some kind of new that absolutely. Absolutely it will. 100%. I was taking a nap when I got the well, yes. But you're also sick. So like napping is super hyper productive for you because you need to rest to allow yourself to recover. Um, Yeah, but I firmly believe that napping is productive. I just personally have not figured out how to make it so for me. I do better if I'm gonna say go to bed early, but you know how hard it is for me to go to bed early? If I lived alone, it would be easier because my husband doesn't resurface until late at night. And then by the time he starts to get ready for bed, like there are days and I'm like, I wanted to be in bed half an hour ago. And I can't fall asleep if he's puttering around me. But Um, I woke up, felt off, even though I had so I went 8:30 to 9, turned it for 4 hours and then drank caffeine afterwards. So you literally just like went for a whole nother half nights of sleep. That's awesome. That's awesome. I have gone through and I don't know if it's in the Diva and the Divine archives or not. But like I have gone through attempts at trying to implement a nap time somewhere around like 1 to 2 o'clock. And I've tried to do like the nappuccino, and it's kind of the thing that has sparked the quiet time in the afternoon that I'm terrible at implementing lately. But, like, when I have a lull, like, it's what inspired my quiet time routine, um, but I'm not successful at napping. But the nappuccino is you drink the coffee before you go down for your nap, and that way, when you wake up from your nap, the caffeine has already hit you and you're ready to go. Um I was only up for 1.5 hours and then went back down. Yeah, that and I'm sure that means that, like, your body just needed it. You needed more sleep. And I've had that. There was this Sunday, what was that, 2 Sundays ago when I was so freaking tired. I woke up when I woke up and I was like, I'm just my husband did say, he goes, "You could go back to bed and we can go to the later church service." And I'm like, "I'm awake now. I don't think I'm gonna fall asleep." I might have fallen back asleep if I had been willing to get back in bed, but, like, once I was up and I was dressed and had makeup on, I'm like, "Let's just go to church and get it like, let's go do it." And, like, horrible mindset to have, let's just go get it done. But, like, I was up and ready for the 9 o'clock service, let's just go to the 9 o'clock service rather than just putting it off so I can do what? Sit there and, like, wonder if I'm gonna fall asleep or not? Um, so, yeah. My head hurts almost every time I take a nap. Yeah, and I have had it in my personal instances on the times that I have napped, I felt worse when I wake up. But I also it's like it it's like I fall asleep on the couch because I feel terrible or I'm just so low energy that, like, nothing's gonna make you feel better type of situation. I have to schedule physical stuff after a nap quiet time or I'll be useless afterwards. Yeah. Interesting. And it's great that you figure out what is working for you and listening to your body. Your body was like, heck no. And you you went ahead and you're like, let's just sleep it off. And like, cause like napping is like 20 minutes to like a 90-minute cycle. You went through a couple sleep cycles doing that. So like you needed it. You needed it. Um Take naps when the kids 15 minutes 'cause I'm paranoid. Yep. Yeah. No, I'm not a and I'm with that. I will and, like, is this a toxic trait? Maybe, but, like, I will sit and do nothing for hours if I'm feeling terrible. But I can't bring myself to, like, go and lay down, and maybe I should try and go and lay down, but I have this because 'cause I've got sleep anxiety, right? So, like, if I go lay down in the middle of the day, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna be like, "Is my husband gonna come in and wake me up? Is he gonna make too much noise and wake me up? Is Gracie gonna need something? Like, is something gonna go wrong? Am I gonna need to be out of bed?" Like, all of those things will prevent me from falling asleep because I'm ridiculous. Because I'm ridiculous. But that would have been miserable. Yes. If there's one thing that I have learned lately is that listening to your body, super crucial. I got a compliment. I can't remember who complimented me on it. Someone in the live stream, I think, complimented me on how in tune I am with my body and how jealous they are of that. Just like, wow, you can sit and you can realize something is wrong, something doesn't feel right. Like apparently I am very in tune with my body and I appear to be very in tune with my body and that has taken a lot of work. Um but one thing that I have learned recently is that if I sit and I like in the mindset of I'm not trying to make excuses, I can differentiate between you're just being lazy and you really shouldn't do this. Like there's a fine line there, but I can kind of feel like that no, working out today would not be productive. Lifting heavy things today would not be productive. It would hurt you more than would help you. Things like that. I'm getting very in tune with when is the right time to do it. And this was reiterated in the Woman Code book that I had just finished. Was, tapping into like your feminine versus masculine energy. It is very masculine energy to power through, do it anyway, get the thing done. It is much more feminine energy to listen to your body and do what feels good in the moment. And I don't, or do what, or not do what doesn't feel good in the moment. And I don't mean with like, eat the cupcake. That's not what I mean. But like, will this workout be productive or harmful? That kind of thing. And I've started to really tap into that. And I'm learning that if it's really a drag yourself through tooth and nail, I can't do the workout and it would be miserable to do it. It's not worth it to do it. Go for a walk instead and then take some rest. So resting is not, yeah. When you have the flu, you do not go to work. Why do you have sleep anxiety? Couldn't tell you. No idea. Absolutely no idea. Um, I love sitting and staring at the wall when I need a break very rarely. I'll actually nod off during the day, but if it's after 8 p.m., I fall asleep. Almost interesting. Interesting. Staring at the wall. I love that. Um, Lindsay, what Enneagram are you again? I should know this and I can't remember. But I know for me, one of the Enneagram 9 things is sitting in silence. So not necessarily staring at the wall, but I love sitting in dead silence. And it is so refreshing to me to sit and have no sound, no none of that. And just quiet. And it is so refreshing. And so for me, like, that is almost equivalent of my nap time. If I can sit and I can just be in quiet for half an hour, mm, so good. I struggle with knowing what I need to put through and what I need to, yeah, and it is a learned practice. It is a learned practice. And the more I think it comes with letting go of perfectionism. Honestly, honestly, it comes with letting go of perfectionism and extremism and the dieting mindset. I really think that starting to try and let go of the diet mindset has helped me become more in tune with my body, because when we're tied in the diet mindset so much, all we think about is we have to get this workout in. We have to push through. We have to, you got to get the step goal. You got to do the things, and you deliberately choose to ignore your body's cues. You deliberately choose for the sake of the weight loss, right? Diet mindset. And in an effort to get rid of diet mindset, I have started to become more in tune with my body and more accepting of imperfection. One of the I can't remember where I heard it first. I don't remember whose quote this is, but the quote that has been profoundly life-changing to me is perfect is the enemy of good. Perfect is the enemy of good. And I don't remember what book I was reading or what podcast I was listening to. I have no freaking idea. I don't know whose quote it is. I don't know who to give credit to it for. But it was as life-changing as Rachel Hollis's um, lover or hater. This quote has stuck with me and has helped me a lot. Other people's opinions of you are none of your business. Very valuable quote to me. And perfect is the enemy of good. Life changing quote. Life changing. And I tell myself that. I literally told myself that Saturday when I was putting my hair up in a ponytail, and I couldn't get, like, I kept getting like this one little bump, and like it wasn't perfectly even, and we were going out in public, and oh my God. And so I literally looked at myself and I was like, perfect is the enemy of good. Just stop screwing with it. You're just going to make it worse. Literally, because I was doing my hair. Like, I use that quote for everything. Perfect is the enemy of good. I shoot that quote at my husband who's sitting there nitpicking about something. Like, so helpful. It's such a helpful quote. Oh my gosh. Um, and that's how embracing perfect as the enemy of good has helped me get in tune with my body, because I no longer have to worry about perfect. If I need a break, that's okay. Like, another thing, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm in my workout clothes and I'm going, I don't know. I'm starting to finally, thank you guys, because I'm starting to finally feel a little bit more able. I literally did not come up here and do morning routine outside of stuff I could do in my recliner, reading, like the visualization, prayer, whatever, because I did not have the energy to climb the stairs. No joke. That's where my body was at this morning, which happens to me every once in a while. There is, which is why I love having a first floor master, because if there are days where I just can't do stairs right away, I don't have to. Um, that's where I was at this morning. I knocked out 15,000 steps yesterday, and today I didn't even want to climb the stairs. So listening to my body, perfect is the enemy of good. And it's so helpful. So helpful. Um, Often, if I'm going to actually nap and not just have quiet time, I'll take Tylenol and wake up feeling good. Lindsay's an 8, Amberly's a 4. I know a lot of 4s. The family's sick too, so that left me working up to how I'm feeling. Um, because I'm so high energy and always doing all the things, I go balls to the wall 98% of the time. Those few minutes of decompression, I need to be totally blank. Technically, I'm an 8 wing 9. Okay. Okay. So then that makes sense that you need like the quiet decompression. Okay. I just started reading the new Enneagram book today. Um, oh my gosh, what is it called? I didn't actually dive into any of the Enneagram content. I just started to read the beginning of it. The Story of You by Ian Morgan Cron. I just started that this morning. Um, Doing nothing is hard because I will just be on my phone, but napping, I plug my phone in away from the bed. Yeah. And a lot of times when I am in quiet mode, I will also be on my phone, but I will make the choice to deliberately not be on social media. Mindlessly scrolling. I will turn on like a game. I've been playing this stupid like merge game called like Merge Chef. It's a ridiculous game, but it is a really great like when you just need to zone out game. You just merge things and make like it's just super. It's something to do that it allows you to completely zone out, um, and it keeps me off of social media. And another thing with the plug your phone in, gosh, there was something I read yesterday, the other day, that was reminding me of, oh, gosh, I've been consuming so much random content lately that I can't actually remember where the stuff that I've been thinking about is from. Like, I also started, Cara Alwell, she's the Champagne Diet. I've talked about her before too. And while between the 3 women that I've talked about thus far today, the Daily Connoisseur, Simply Luxurious Life, and the Champagne Diet, like, they are 3 women who's like, if I could combine them into like in their lifestyles into one being, that would be like the life that I would desire for myself. Because like I feel like Jennifer L. Scott is too like classical for me. And I feel like Shannon Abels is a very Simply Luxurious Life is a solid happy medium, but like Cara Alwell is glam. She's glam, she's sparkles, she's champagne, she's luxury in the glamorous type of way. And so like combining the 3 of them is like kind of like the life I'd want to cultivate for myself. But her audiobooks are on Scribed or Scribd, I guess that's what Lissa said. I like Scribed better because Scribed is like writing and it's books. So I'm gonna keep calling it Scribed. Um, but her audiobooks are like 2.5 hours long. Like they're not long. She narrates them. So I've gone back and I listened to the Champagne Diet this past like these last couple of days, and I just started Sparkle. And like, gosh, and now the train has left the station. And I can't. Someone talked about putting the phone away, doing something else with your time, blah blah blah, not consuming social, not doing. I don't remember where all of the content I'm consuming is coming from because I'm consuming a lot. I'm consuming Cara Alwell. Well, her last name used to be Leba. She got divorced, so she's just Cara Alwell now. And the Simply Luxurious Life, and all like I'm just been consuming so much. But the phone in the other room is something that I want to like. I again go on and off with this, but just put it away and do something else with my time without the phone even there. Also important. I lost comments. Here we go. Tri-type is 8-wing 9 followed by 7-wing 8 wrapped up by 2. And I have not done the tri-type doohickey. It's the blue light screens that I need to be away from. Do you have your phone on like night mode or anything that warms up the light? Or do you have blue light blockers? Blue light blockers. I do have a pair of blue light blockers that I don't use. They sit on my dresser and I just never use them. I'm a 4-wing 3 and 4-wing 5. Interesting. I'm a 9-wing 1. Your pronunciation makes sense. I only knew because of the ad I kept getting. Interesting. No, it's in my heart, it will always be Scribed. I've called it that for what, 2 years now? Anyway, those are all things that have been on my mind lately, folks. Super exciting coffee chat, I know, but there's a lot just like happening in my head. Because it's time like it's spring. It's time for renewal. It's spring. You would know it today. It's supposed to rain and thunderstorm and be gross today. So obnoxious. But yesterday was beautiful and we can't look a weather gift horse in the mouth in April in Minnesota. So it's just and something I think actually I was reading a sample of um again, I could be wrong, but Shannon's new book, which is called something about Le Papillon. Gosh, what is it called? Her new book, this is the Simply Luxurious Life we're talking about here. Her new book is a 365-day where like you could read an entry every day if you wanted to type book. The Road to La Papillon is what it's called, which means the butterfly, and she calls her house the butterfly. And because she's worked so hard to transform it and create that space that she's wanted and whatnot. But I think it was in there that she talked about like when like, you can sense when your body needs a change, when you need, like, a reawakening, when you need like, you can feel when you need the change to happen. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at, like, I'm like, I can kind of feel that unsettled, like, "I need to do something else. I need to what do I need to do?" Like, do can you guys relate to that? Like, just that feeling of needing a change, needing something? Um, the glasses give me a headache, and I do have a warmer screen, but it's about whatever we want it to be about. My cat's excited. Um, so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with all of that. So before I take up any more of your time, hang on. I'm almost done with my coffee. We've done it. We've managed to get me to talk through my cup of coffee. I always need a change. Yeah, and see, I don't. And that's what makes it interesting to me. I'm like, what is it? Because like nines like their stability and their safety and their bubble and their routines and all of that. So I'm sitting here going, what the heck do I need to change? Because if I'm feeling something that's so rattled by like I need to be I'm feeling unfulfilled, like what is that? What maybe that's what I need to blog about. Is my journey back to Brianna? Oh, I don't mind that. Back to Brianna. Huh. Maybe. Maybe that's what I'll do. Rearrange your room and see if that scratches the itch for change. Yeah, I wanna reorganize a couple of things. Redo the linen closet, and I need to continue to purge and do all that stuff. That stuff is on my list of things to do today. Today is a day that I have nothing planned, which is great because tomorrow I have 5 billion things planned. So tomorrow is like hardcore work day. But today I'm free to do what I want when I want, which is super awesome. So, yeah, I need to, do a lot of that, like, reorganization type, stuff. See? Burpee. I'm not usually this burpy. What is going on? Um, yeah. Yeah. So that's it. That's what I want to do. I want to do something like that. We were thinking, my husband and I were thinking about getting something for this space right here, like a shelf similar to the one that we have out in the loft for my Legos and stuff. Listen to me, 35-year-old woman talking about my Legos. But I have amassed a collection of Legos like you would not believe, and they are all Harry Potter Legos. And so my husband has all of his Star Wars Legos. Lego. Technically, Legos is not the appropriate plural for Lego. Did you know that? We learned that from watching the Lego TV show. He has a shelf that has all the Star Wars Lego sets out there, and my sets are I have one there. I have a Hagrid's hut over here, but, like, I don't have a, like, set place for, like, all of the Harry Potter stuff. We've got 3 sets downstairs making a vignette in the lower thing by the fireplace, but I need a place for it. So my husband's like, "Well, if we moved your jewelry box, we could put another shelf thing here, and all of your Lego sets could go there, and that would give me another, albeit nerdy, but background to film with if I like made it such a way." And then I also have, oh gosh, this mirrored thing. These flowers are all Lego as well in the vase that I just found at Home Goods. So I have to finish that floral arrangement. I have some lavender that I need to put in there. But the so I can put that on there as well and have like a secondary background to film in front of to keep it different. So that's something we're looking into as well, is just kind of changing things up a little bit. So I'm hoping that will scratch that itch. I don't know. Hello, Jordan. Good to see you. Um, I look at Lego kits for the girls all the time. We unapologetically like, you know how I keep saying I need a hobby? Right now, this is our hobby. This. My husband works, watches hockey, and allows me to obtain Lego sets for us. Like, literally, at Target, there was a certain sets where buy one like, we keep saying that we're done. Like, we don't need any more. We don't need any more. Um, and but they yes, I have that. I haven't built it yet, but I have that, and I'm so excited to build that. This is how into it we are. My husband also purchased himself Mos Eisley's Cantina, which is another $400 set. This is our hobby. This Lego is our hobby, and what we like about it is because we're such nerds and it's very on brand for us, using them as home decor and display items makes sense. Like, so for us, we're like, we're not spending money on kids. So this is the thing that we're into. And for me, what's really interesting and a great way for me to justify it is it's really hard for me to put Lego together. Very hard. But like this stupid flower set, the amount of little pieces I've had to try and pinch, like frustrating. The reason it's not completely built is because one pack taxes my hands. So it's literally hand therapy for me. Like, call that an excuse, but like it is a lot of work for my fingers to do the smaller pieces and stuff. So it's actually strengthening my fingers and my dexterity to be putting these sets together. So it's actually therapy for me, which is super helpful. But Target had a sale just the other day after we keep saying we're done. We don't need any more. We're done. They had a sale for like buy one, get one 40% off certain sets. The Burrow was on there and the Hogwarts Express was on there. And so, like, we scrolled through, and usually when they're on sale, it's not any, like, of the good Star Wars or Harry Potter sets. They had Harry Potter sets on there, so I'm like, "Well, how about we get these?" And so my husband's gonna build Hogwarts Express, and I'm gonna build the Burrow. It's ridiculous, but it's so fun. That's a fun hobby. It is. And here's the thing, like, a lot of the sets are designed for adults as well. The amount of detail that go into these adult sets is phenomenal. Phenomenal. The amount of joy that I had putting together the Friends apartment sets because of all of the little details from all of the seasons of the show that they threw into these sets. Such joy. Such joy. Um, we also have a Santa's Village set and the Hogsmeade Village set that we're waiting to build for Christmas, and, like, we're literally gonna use them as Christmas decorations. There's an Advent wreath that we have on our wish list because, like, it's actually a wreath, and, like, oh my gosh, we're nerds. That is a hobby that I have, the flower one. Maybe I can make room for that one. It's beautiful. We also have the, Birds of Prey. Is that the one? It comes in, like, a little you build the vase for it and whatever. That's literally sitting in one of our cubby holes by our fireplace as a plant decoration. And if you would walk by it real fast without paying attention, you would not know that it is built of Lego. You would think it's a real plant. It's beautiful. Um, that's my hobby, apparently. I don't even know how we got on the Lego, but yeah. Anyway, changing things up. Yes, that's what we're working on. So, anyway, now that I've talked for almost an hour, I'm going to let you guys go so we can all go have what day is today? Tuesday. We can all go have a Tuesday. So thank you for hanging out. Thank you for helping me through my cup of coffee. There we go. Now it's done. I can go have a day now. Birds of Paradise. Yes. Birds of Paradise. That's the one. We have that one. And it's beautiful. It really is. So anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for hanging out. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. Okay?